What is life like for someone who's living with TB?
I think it's actually, I mean, there's a lot of stigma associated with TB still, which is a shame, because it's hard to take drugs for TB treatment. It's hard to stick to it for 6 months for regular TB, and for MDR and XDR TB for 2 years during a really hard treatment course. It's a hard thing to do. I'm not sure that I could do it. Really, it would be really hard, which is why I think it's a responsibility of everyone to really support people who have TB and to support them to take treatment throughout the full course. It's not an individual thing. We should really, it's a community responsibility, really.
Now, is there anything that's being done right now in the country to prevent TB from spreading?
There is, because essentially the best way to prevent TB from spreading is to diagnose it early and start treatment early. It's treatment as prevention.
Right.
And so there is actually, thankfully, a new TB diagnostic test. And South Africa is to be commended, really, because South Africa was one of the first countries that committed to rolling out this test for everyone in which you might think that they have TB when they come into a clinic. And now this has happened. So the test is available throughout South Africa. And this has increased case detection for TB across the country, and particularly for MDR as well. And so that's an excellent first step. But now we need to treat those people much better than what we've been doing.
Now, is TB something that you should be checked up for, or is it just something that you wait for symptoms to arise and then you get checked for it?
No, it's not a routine thing that you should be checked for. But as soon as people get symptoms that make them worry about TB, that they should go to their clinic. So any cough that is of several weeks or more, if they are losing weight or have chest pain or fatigue that they can't explain, these are symptoms that are common to TB, and they should go to a clinic. And it's a fairly simple test that involves coughing and producing a sputum sample, and that's what people should do. And other people should encourage people that their family members to also seek a diagnosis and not to be afraid of that as well.
Now, is there anything people can do to reduce their risk of contracting TB?
Well, not really so much. Well, of course, if you're HIV positive, then people should get tested for HIV to know their status. And if they're eligible to take antiretroviral treatment, then they should also be receiving antiretroviral treatment, which will reduce their risk of TB. But really, it's also about encouraging other people to be diagnosed and start treatment, because then that will reduce their own risk. If the people around you don't have TB, then your risk will be reduced.
All right, well, when you say TB is a neglected disease, what do you mean by that?
Well, I guess it's, well, one of the examples of that is the lack of research into new drugs and new diagnostics and new tools to treat and diagnose the disease. When you do comparisons between HIV and the amount of money that goes into research for a disease like HIV compared to TB, it's quite phenomenal, this difference. Because there are quite a lot of people in the really wealthy nations who have HIV. Not so many with TB. People with TB tend to be poor. There's not a big market for these drugs.
Well, when you said there's not a lot of research, is that changing? I know there's a conference coming to South Africa soon on TB. Is this a step in the right direction? Is the mindset towards TB changing, or are we still stuck in a lull?
I think it is. It is improving, but not fast enough. There have definitely been some improvements over the last decade, and the amount of money that's coming in is increasing. Certainly the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have put a lot of money into TB, but that's private money. Actually, what we really need is government money, much more into TB. So it is improving, but it needs much more.
Okay.